So, a band just put out one of the best pieces of animated media of the year. A band, not a movie studio, big TV production company, nah. Independent animation studio with the visual artist of the band at the helm of the project. And it's fucking peak! Now this isn't your normal band. This is the most popular fictional band of all time. A crew of weird-ass rock stars known as the Gorillaz. And that's all I can play of that for the intro before I get claimed. Created by two Brits back in the late 90s, you've got Jamie Hewlett as the visual and Damon Albarn as the audio. But it's not just them, and the many producers and musicians that they've worked with. The band's made up of 4 characters with different personalities and different bits of lore and development told over 25 years. Starting with the bass player Murdoch Nichols, he's the one who started the band, and he is a slimy, nasty little gremlin. You've got frontman 2D, aka Stuart Pott, which is the name of every gas station worker in every TV show. I may be over-exaggerating here, but I really think they've got one of the most memorable character designs, just in general. It's just so good. It really screams that late 90s punk that's weirdly aged well with some small redesigns over the years. Next, we've got Russell, the drummer. My favorite part about him is that he's so chill about pretty much anything. He's also a very realistic character in the story, despite being possessed by the ghosts of his dead friends. He calls people out on their shit. And by people, I mean Murdoch. Last but not least, on lead guitar is Noodle. She's just cool as shit. Like, so genuinely sick in every scene they put her in. And her character changes so naturally over the course of each era. This video is about the short film that they put out recently, but I really wanted to go back and talk about some of their older stuff because I enjoy it. And that's it. I'll make sure to put in chapters so you can skip to that part if that's all you're interested in. Otherwise, feel free to stick around and enjoy this trip down memory lane. The Gorillaz recently released their 9th album. Holy shit, I didn't realize it was that many. The Mountain.
The Mountain. The Mountain. The Mountain.
One of their most masterfully made works that takes you through an emotional ride. And with it came one of the most masterfully made music videos that amplifies said emotional ride. I originally had another video that I wanted to jump into making, but after watching this short film, I knew I had to talk about it. I'm a fan of the Gorillaz, man. Looking back on it, they were one of the most influential bands to me as a person. They pushed my love of animation, they were one of the first bands that I listened to outside of their top hits. Listen, all I had was Rock Band and the radio as a kid. So albums didn't mean shit to me until I listened to Demon Days for the first time. They introduced me to way more types of music, hip-hop, punk, rock, Latin music, and to this day, with the release of this album, I get to know new artists and genres through them. And this short film that they made for The Mountain, The Moon Cave, and The Sad God, in a way brought a lot of my artistic influences and interests full circle. Which is wild considering one of the album's themes is about the cyclical nature of life and death. Which is a lot deeper than my taste in music and media, but I don't know, I thought it was neat. This video though is truly amazing, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Experience it, even if the music isn't for you. There's so much care in the animation and design work that it's worth the 9 minutes of your time. That's not to say this is their first notable music video. Not even close. What the release of this album did for me is essentially prompt me to go back and re-experience a lot of their older stuff. I did full album listens that I haven't done in years, especially for those first 5 albums. And it was really fun. Really cool to go through in order and see all the different vibes that each of them gives off. All the themes and deep messages that they try to convey. And the fact that they've had so much variety even early on helps a lot of their more bizarre albums, like The Mountain, not feel out of place. That's not what I'm here to talk about though. As much as I love their music, the videos that accompanied some of the tracks are so fucking iconic and incredible. 19-2000 with the band driving through a weird city in their army jeep. The way they blend 2D and 3D animation is super fun. Not seamless, the polygonal moose is pretty silly looking, but that only adds to the charm. I don't know if you've seen Rock the House's music video, but it's insane. Murdoch in a jockstrap blocks pool balls being shot at him by humping them away, while inflatable gorilla cheerleaders dance in the background. What? Also, at the time of writing this, YouTube recommended to me this as one of the top comments on the video. Again. What? I really love Del the Ghost Trapper, Del the Funky Homo Sapiens character in Clint Eastwood. The animation and the effects they do with him, his entrance alone is so memorable, and watching this video as a kid is one of the earliest memories that I can link my love of animation to, along with a handful of movies. And that was all from their first album. On top of those music videos, and Tomorrow Comes Today, which isn't the most animated. They also made a bunch of shorts and specials. They made a whole segment for MTV Cribs. They have lore books and documentaries. I haven't even mentioned Feel Good Inc., Stylo, On Melancholy Hill. If you wanted to know more about this band, there are some playlists compiling every piece of visual media they've released, and there's also some really good videos chronicling the story of the characters themselves. Hopefully I'll remember to link those in the description. Not to linger too long on the past, I want to get into the actual subject of this video. I just really like talking about this stuff, so I'm going to mention a couple of more of my favorite videos. Dirty Harry is my favorite track off of Demon Days. It's catchy and the synths add a fun groove, but every line in Booty Brown's verse is so raw. It really paints a vivid picture of a soldier and all the horrid effects war has on them. And, just for an extra punch in the gut, the video shows a bunch of children with 2D who survived a chopper crash waiting to be rescued in the desert. All the war imagery combined with children singing and dancing made for such a depressing piece to this great album, which is bullshit because it goes so hard. One of my favorites is for the song Humility. It's probably my favorite song from the band, and the video accompanying it is so smooth. It's just a fun, well-shot, and well-animated video. Noodles playing chess, 2D's probably the happiest they've ever been at this point in the lore, and Mr. Minecraft showed up to set and no one could stop him from being on camera.
I am building rocks and shit and playing fucking Minecraft!
It's also busy canonizing a lot of people and characters into a lot of different fictional universes, because for some reason with Murdoch in prison at this point, they hire a Powerpuff Girls villain to play bass. The entirety of Song Machine is great, because for the standard album tracklist, 9 of the 11 songs received music videos. While they aren't all the most ambitious ideas, a majority of the original video for Valley of the Pagans was made up of clips from a modded copy of GTA 5. They still have some stellar animation work done by independent animation studio, The Line, and are, for the most part, really casual, which fits the feel of the whole album. The best video, and one of the biggest ones, in my opinion, is probably for the song The Lost Chord. It has the band returning to the ruined location of their third studio album.
Welcome to the world of the plastic beach.
And instead of lingering for too long and fawning over what is one of their most popular albums/eras, Lee John comes out of the ocean during the second chorus to laser it with fucking alien eyes.
I will fucking laser you.
This video rules. I mean, the expression work on the characters alone, man. They all look so genuinely mortified to be here. After they've had a very personal journey in the story since Plastic Beach, especially this album and the Now Now, they really captured how extreme the events that took place here were. I remember thinking the sea monster looked a little silly, like he didn't blend in very well, but with the addition of the retro title cards, it makes it look more like old school effects, which the film grain, the costume, and the fact that this is meant to be an homage to a past era for the band really seals the deal on that. Great video. A lot of the animation is just in the beginning part, but it's all super high quality. And, like I said, we have The Line to thank for that. They've been around for a while, and I've actually known about them for a bit. Other than some of the animation from their newer albums, like the Humility video and most, if not all, of Song Machine, they also worked on a Warframe prologue short for their 1999 update, which is one of my favorite games, and I remember really digging that short. The reason why I'm making another note of them is because they did the animation for The Mountain, The Moon Cave, and The Sad God. Yeah, now that I've talked your ear off about the old stuff that I like, I'm spending the rest of this video talking about the new stuff, which might just be the best music video that they've made. The level of detail, the beauty in the backgrounds, and the references to classic Disney movies from the 60s makes me want to animate so bad. When I watched this, I got the same feeling in my chest that I got when I made my video on Internet Animator Dead Sound. That's how I knew I watched something special. Getting into the meat of the film, the story is shown over 3 songs from the record. First, we have the titular track from the album, The Mountain. This section of the film is solely focused on Noodle. As she explores the base of the mountain, we get to see a journey in the jungle that completely references one of the biggest films of the 1960s, The Jungle Book. It really mirrors a lot of the early scenes of Mowgli living in the jungle. This short film does keep a Gorillaz spin on it though. Jamie's character style still shines through, with the angular hands, detailed teeth, and it even harkens back to Noodle's original design with her hair covering her eyes. I'm so into how whimsical and free this is. The shot where she's running along the dragon's back and gets kicked into the air is super silly, and fits so well with the music that picks up there. Afterwards, she gets thrown into the water, and I don't really know why, but this water effect here where the ripple lines disappear catches my eye so much. It's just so pleasing to look at. And these backgrounds? They may be the best part of the film. It's so pretty. There's so much texture in them. How everything layers up to create a full, vibrant, and natural space for the characters to journey through. It's really impressive. Just this shot alone. The lighting here on the stone dragon before it comes to life, having this warm, soft sunlight brightest on its face, while the shadiest bit of the scene darkens the grass right next to him to really differentiate the ground and make those flower petals pop. God damn, I love good lighting. When they do come together, a little detail I noticed was how Noodle turns to see 2D. As she's walking, she slows down when she notices them, and the motion in her legs to stop is animated so deliberately. How her body slows down on the last step, and that right heel just barely lifts up before pivoting over. Meanwhile, her left foot comes over to take her next step, but catches on the ground and slows down to turn over and stop so she can look in their direction. That was really natural looking, and it's things like that that make me respect the amount of work that was put into this. As they come together, we get this reference to Big Russell from Plastic Beach, which they reference again later as they're drifting down the river. This is where the walk cycles become so clearly based off of 60s Disney. It's this fun, jovial walk inspired by the walk cycles in the Jungle Book that pairs so well with the groove of the beat. This is also the part where Murdoch really shines at being Murdoch because he pisses into a pond and fucks a snake. Couldn't go one video without doing something weird, could ya? When they make it to the cave, a lot of the references start to get past me when the carvings on the walls come to life. Like, I know Black Thought and Trugoy the Dove are on the verse here, and I spotted the Kong Studios logo right after the shot with the 9/11 reference. I think this large figure here is meant to be Vishnu, which is one of the major deities of Hinduism. Otherwise, I couldn't really pick out any specific visuals or symbols. Let me know what I missed in the comments below for that one. Regardless, this section is so full of movement and bounce. This is really where those animation fundamentals come into play. The exaggerated movements, the squashing and stretching and the bouncing, it's really cool. Finally, we get to the third part with the song, The Sad God. It's very simple. As the characters take a gentle ride out on a ferryman's boat, we get to see some more of these amazing backgrounds. Noodle takes the focus once again to jump into the waters, and right before she does, she mouths the unmistakable, "I love you." One by one, they jump in. And it's on the beat of the song, which adds a lot more impact to each member choosing to follow her. The water effects and the colors here are once again so great to see, and the video closes out as they fall back down to earth. There is a really great interview with the co-founders of The Line where they go into how they made this short film a reality. They talk a lot about the process with Jamie, the lead artist for Gorillaz, who storyboarded the whole film. They touch on their influences and how they went about representing Indian history and culture with their visuals. The article is a great read, and it's really fun looking at this from their perspective after seeing a lot of talk from Damon and Jamie. And I'll link that below. But I want to bring up some of their methods of how they made it look so classic, so nostalgic looking. I messed up here. I said the animation was done on paper and then scanned in and edited, but they were talking about the backgrounds. They instead studied a lot of hand animation. and did their best to replicate it. In this Cartoon Brew article, they corroborate this by talking about how they tried replicating the look of Xerox printing from the 60s, and how they made a few cells as a reference, but couldn't quite make them work for the film, so they took the practices and combined them with modern tools. They limited the amount of layers in their animation track to simulate the restrictions that animators had back in the good old days of clunky-ass machinery that, believe it or not, made the animation process easier. Technology is so funny. They also used an old method by using real smoke to create flowing water. Kinda reminds me of the salt waterfalls in The Phantom Menace, which is one of the 2 good things I can remember from that movie. It looks so good though, you know, it's very ethereal looking. This all creates a great combination of past and present techniques that lent itself to such an astounding video. That idea of combining past and present while looking out to the future is entwined in so much of this album and its personality. There's a lot of features on the mountain that they've worked with before, but there's also a lot of new faces for someone like me to be introduced to. Sounds and genres that harken back to their older albums, and new ones that they've never utilized. Even looking at their previous works, there were some tracks I felt took inspiration from some of their more recent albums, like the Now Now Song Machine, and some of the disco vibes from Humans. And they mixed that with a lot of Plastic Beach and references to Demon Days songs. But then you get a track like The Manifesto or The Mountain, and you're like, these are the Feel Good Inc. guys, right? The biggest theme of the record is death, and in a way to honor some of the artists they've worked with over the years who've passed, they took outtakes from previous recording sessions with them and integrated them into the album, once again pushing that idea. This video was originally supposed to be half the length. A very quick look into this short film they made, and that's it. But as I kept listening to their music and going back to see older stuff again, I wanted to keep adding and talking about things. But you know, as I was writing this, I kept wanting to keep listening to The Mountain over and over, finding new things in the music, experiencing tracks more than before. It's become my favorite Gorillaz album, and one of my favorites in general. I got the vinyl for it on a whim when my friend found it at a store, and that was a risk I'm glad I took because I'm so happy with it. The music, the short film, the interviews with the people who made it all possible? Chef's fucking kiss, man, come on. Go listen to the album and watch the short film, and let me know what you think.